Okay, welcome to day 5 of these podcasts. As I've said, I'm going to be throwing these podcasts over the next 30 days or over 30 days. So we've got 25 days to go. These tools, techniques, questions and answers are based on very real and present questions that I've had over the last couple of months with my clients. I've had and noted them down in the hope that by discussing them on here, in short and brief segments, they're going to help you understand yourself a little bit better, how you can implement some of the tools, how you're not alone in your thought processes, where you can do what you can do in order to make those changes, and in the hope that it inspires some people to take some action to better themselves and those people around them. So today, anger and frustration. The reason why you're angry and frustrated can be for any number of reasons. But for anger and frustration for me, and certainly within the sporting community, is because you're misaligned and in general terms, you're living somebody else's life. Now, this is an experience that I actually went through myself. I was working in an environment probably 15 years ago, working and building daily for somebody else to live the life that I wanted. I was turning up, I was grafting, I was giving it 100% every single day. And what that led to was an element of resentment. If you followed any of my videos on YouTube, you'll know that I talk about anger, resentment, fear, frustration, and envy being some of the emotions that we experience in later life as a result of not following through with a life that we're proud to call our own. Now, it can be difficult. It can be difficult as an athlete, as a parent, as a business owner, as an employee, to have the faith and the belief in self that you can manifest your thoughts into something tangible and a life that you can call your own, and you're confident that is going to turn out the way that you want. The recommendation, this is a big recommendation for people of all levels within the sporting community, in the business world, even in relationships. If you're unhappy doing what you're doing, then you need to make some rapid changes right now. And the reason I'm going to say that is because when the choice is taken away from you in later life because of natural body deterioration, because the mind is not going to be as sharp as it once was, and because of the opportunities that have passed, you're going to end up living in a space of anger, resentment, frustration, and envy. And the reason you're going to do that is because you'll become so frustrated with self not being, having not delivered or not followed through with that thought, that action, that intention at the time, that you're going to see somebody else living that or have the opinion of another doing it, and you're going to trigger a load of those emotions internally. So if you're angry or frustrated at the moment, I want you to turn that internally and perhaps grab a pen or paper right now and just write down the reasons why. Who are you truly angry or frustrated at? Because it's not the outside world, it's the inside world. It's the thoughts and questions you're asking yourself that are causing those negative emotions, those negative feelings, and that state that you're adopting. If you're walking around angry and frustrated because you're not delivering on, or your coach isn't delivering on what you've expected to do, then you need to take some ownership over that and understand that the choice that you have to turn up to training with that coach on a daily basis is your choice, not theirs. They're doing the best that they can with the tools that they have. You're not being the best that you can to you, because you're not making the choice or the decision to go out and find a new coach. If you're unhappy in the team that you're in and you have an agent and you're not happy in that environment, then you need to take the action. You have the choice whether to communicate those frustrations with your agent and look for alternative choices where you are going to be happy. All the time that you live in that space of unhappiness, that frustration, that resentment, that anger is going to manifest itself into something that it actually doesn't need to be. Communicate better. Communicate better not only with yourself, understand what you want, and then communicate it with the outside world. I'm a great believer that your thoughts become your actions, which then manifest themselves into truth. Again, the only way that you can be truthful to yourself and to the outside world is by making choices in the present moment based on who you want to become. There may be obstacles. There may be times of hardship. I've been there. I left an incredibly well-paid career, sold my business and started from scratch when I didn't need to. The reason I did that is because I wasn't happy and complacent. I'd become complacent in aspects of life that weren't supportive to growth, development, to that person who I wanted to become. That legacy statement that I keep referring back to. And I will discuss in more detail what I mean by that in one of the other podcasts. But for now, if you're angry and frustrated, it's because you're living somebody else's life. You're not aligned with that future version of self, and you are not making the choices to do something about it. Again, what I'm not recommending is everyone relinquishes their position within their club, or they find a new coach, or they leave their employment and become full-time athletes, or do something that is completely outside of their comfort zone. But what I am going to invite you to do is to really think about it. Grab a pen and paper right now and write down who and why you're frustrated, who you're angry with, and make sure that is reflected internally. What you're not doing in the present moment, what choices you're not making, and the reasons why the world that you're living or the environment that you're seeing is not giving you what you truly deserve. I'm a great believer that people attract in life what they're really seeking the most. Unfortunately for most people today, they're seeking all of the things that they don't want. They're giving the brain really clear instructions about what they don't want, and then guess what? It manifests itself into exactly that. You're looking for all of the things you don't want, then you're going to see it. You're going to identify it. The brain's like a heat-seeking missile. It's going to identify all of those aspects of life that you are giving the instructions for it to find. Flip it. So if you're not happy with what you've got at the moment, flip your internal heat-seeking missile into aspects of life that you do want, and then make the choices based on whether that is in alignment to future version of self, whether it's going to be supportive to the growth and development, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So, anger and frustration, where does it come from? Why you're experiencing it? Why you're frustrated with yourself? What choices do you need to make in the present moment to ensure that you're not going to continue on this cycle of anger, frustration, envy, resentment, and hate, so that on your last awakened breath, you can turn around to yourself and be proud of the actions and the choices. And again, this is just one thing I want to reiterate. The choices that you make in the present moment are always, providing you make the right ones. And when I mean the right ones based on future version of self, on your legacy statement, they will always be right. You can only become frustrated with yourself when you're not making the right choices in the present moment. And I know that if you think about that, you can immediately think to the past about a choice that you made that felt uncomfortable, that created that uncomfortable feeling in self, that the second that you made it, you wish you hadn't, because you knew that it wasn't the right decision. You can reflect back on that, utilize that as the key to the purpose behind this exercise. You're looking back with resentment over that choice you made in the present moment that was incongruent with the way that you were feeling, was the wrong decision. If you in the present moment work to future version of self and make all of the choices in the present moment based on the person that you want to become, no choice that you ever make will be incorrect. I live by that ethos. If the choices in the present moment, despite how bonkers they may seem, in the present moment are in perfect alignment with the person that you want to be in the future, then you're serving yourself correctly. You're serving yourself with good intention. If you're there at the dinner table and there is a choice to eat something that you shouldn't because you're on a strict nutrition strategy for an event that's tomorrow, and you make the incorrect choice, and then the following day you have stomach cramps, you know that misalignment, that lack of internal truth has caused a misalignment and caused issues in the future. So that's it. Anger and frustration, you're living someone else's life. Start to take ownership over and control over your own thoughts and the actions and the choices you're making in the present moment.